Hi there. My name is Beth Green, otherwise known as Granny Rocks. And tonight I'm going to talk about why don't we address the cause instead of the symptoms? Do we have the guts?
Ooh, looking forward to hearing about that, Granny.
I'm so glad you are.
Yes, hi there. I'm Sweet Baby James, otherwise known as James Maynard, and welcome to Inner Evolution, Changing the World from the Inside Out, which airs every Monday and Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. So stay with us and keep coming back.
Thank you. So, last time on our show, I was talking about do people want to hear the truth? And if not, what do we do about it? Well, I pretty much was saying that most of us don't want to hear the truth because it's too threatening, it's too this, and we don't want to tell them because we don't want to get in trouble, we don't have a hard time. Okay, so Elizabeth said hello, and she sent a heart. Well, thank you, Elizabeth, a heart to you, and many hellos. So as it happened today, I was I was thinking about, well, what am I supposed to talk about tonight, right? And I ended up by accident, right, watching an interview of a man named Dr. Dale Bredesen. He is a scientist who became a doctor, and he treats Alzheimer's and all kinds of forms of dementia. And he has really had a lot of success in actually stopping the process or turning it around, at least for some people. And so he was on an interview and he was talking about Alzheimer's and other neurodegenerative diseases. And that, they've been talking about the amyloid plaque in the brain. Don't expect me to be scientifically accurate. But anyway, there's this plaque. Oh, and Tracy said hi. Hi, Tracy.
Hi, Tracy.
She said a smiling, loving face. Okay. So he was talking about this amyloid plaque that everybody thought was the cause of Alzheimer's, and then they've been giving us drugs to get rid of the amyloid plaque, and it didn't solve the problem. I wonder why. And he said that he discovered, and probably others too, that the amyloid plaque is not the cause of the Alzheimer's. It is a defense against the conditions that are impacting us badly. And creating that amyloid plaque is the way the body protects itself from the other problems, and it pulls back. So it could be inflammation, it could be toxicity, it could be coming from your teeth, it could be coming from, something else. And Mary Chris said, hi, Granny, hi, Gramps.
Well,
Hi,
howdy
back to
doody.
you, so good to see you. Happy to see you. So that is why, I heard that too, Mary Chris was saying. So that's why the Alzheimer's drugs have not worked, because they were dealing with how the body was defending itself against the real problems. So what can we learn from this? See, I walked away from I've heard this before, but for some reason it all clicked for me tonight. Right? What can we learn from this? We do the same thing. We are defending ourselves against the real problems. And that makes us sick and crazy. So, for instance, I'm going to give you some examples, very common ones. Now, I'm not trying to be an expert on all things, but we can see certain things are, true throughout our society. I don't know why I can't seem to speak tonight. We try to attack drug addiction by treating addicts. That's like saving the horse after it's left the barn, right? You're already addicted, and now you have to try to stop it. And let's cut down on the fentanyl. Let's legislate this. Let's do this, right? We're treating addicts. We try to correct violent behavior through imprisonment. Oh, we know how well that has worked, right? We send our people to prison where they learn better how to be criminals. We try to manage obesity through gastric bypass surgery. I'm not saying that that's never necessary, but that's like way after you've had a problem that's been impacting you and your life and your body. And what about your eating habits, right? And we try to deal with that. But even the eating habits are a symptom, not a cause. We try to combat depression through therapy and medications. Works, doesn't work? But what's the cause? We try to lessen the impact of football violence on the brain by getting people to report concussions or having better helmets, right? And the list goes on. What are we doing? We're not looking at causes so much as trying to manage the symptoms, right? I think we can all see that from these examples. Now, there could be two major reasons for that. One is we don't yet know the cause, or we don't want to. So obviously, if we don't know the cause, I can't tell you the cause of every problem. I mean, I don't know why my health sucks, for example. But, however, I do know something about us not looking at the causes because we don't want to know. Of course, there are genetic predispositions to certain conditions, as we're talking about on the physical plane. But we also know that there are, and by the way, I should say there are also accidents that can happen. But I would bet you that the number one cause of all these problems is fear and stress. For example, drug addiction. I'm just going to ask you common sense. What do you think? Do relaxed, happy, and fulfilled people pump themselves full of drugs?
I haven't seen any.
I haven't either. I've seen unhappy people trying to escape. I've seen, screwed up people who are trying to get high, so, taking drugs in order to make them smarter or, do better. Okay, do happy, contented people stuff themselves with sugar? I don't think so. Are people who are connected to one another typically depressed? Do satisfied and fulfilled people go out and rob and kill? Would people who are not driven to prove themselves feel the need to play football, or at least in the combative way that we see? I mean, I'm asking very common sense questions, right? Now, here's a surprise. I'm sure you're going to love this. I saw a study today that shows that in the US, the richer you are, and this is probably undoubtedly true worldwide, the richer you are, the more likely you will live a longer, healthier life. What a surprise. Are you surprised? Are you surprised? So if you want to live a longer life, a healthier life, you've got to make more money. You got to be rich. Oh my God, it's stress. It's stress. It's not given to you as a birthright that you're going to have health care or decent food or clean water. No, you've got to live in the better part of town. So another thing that I'm sure you'll find fascinating, I saw a study today that doctors are stressed, burnt out by a number of factors, but the number one is that they're overburdened with bureaucratic tasks. They don't have the time for the patients that they want to give to them.
And overwork as well.
And they are also overworked, meaning they don't have a good work-life balance. And burnout is worse for women. Another surprise, because women go home and feel more responsible for the kids and the shopping and blah, blah, blah. And a full 50% of the 3 generations of doctors that they asked would be willing to take a pay cut to have a better work-life balance. What is that telling us, guys? Can we wake up? What's obvious? That people are driven by fear. The fear that their needs aren't going to be taken care of. That we are driven by the fear of shame. That if we don't perform, we're the kid in the little league who strikes out. That we're afraid of getting old and not having enough money in the bank. I mean, I see 20-year-olds who are worrying about having $5 million in the bank, and that's not even enough anymore. Now, what do you need, $20 million now? And we feel that we need to prove something, we have to compete, or we might just drop out altogether because we can't handle the stress. So guess what? Our needs are not being met in our society, and we are stressed. And I would bet you that a ton of our problems are caused by stress to begin with. Either directly that, stress causes our bodies to get sick and do all kinds of terrible things, but also stress causes us to do stupid, destructive, and self-destructive things in order to reduce our stress. Oh, let me have another drink.
Well, I know that one. I tend to be less smart, shall we say, when I get stressed out.
Oh my God, yes.
I go dumb.
You do. We all
I
do.
do.
We all do.
Yeah.
So
Dumb, dumber, dumbest.
income inequality causes people to try to rise to the top, which is pushing us. Kids are trained to be competitive in sports, academics, and work situations.
Mm-hmm.
There is virtually no safety net in this richest of nations. We fear retirement woes. We eat, drink, and drive ourselves out of anxiety. So, what am I saying? I'm saying, along with climate change, stress is a huge threat to our survival as well as our well-being, because it causes so much destructive behavior and destructive to ourselves and one another. And I'm going to tell you something that I believe, and you may be upset about this. No amount of meditation, chanting, or even exercise is going to substantially reduce the stress unless we organize our society along different lines and we raise our children with different values. Now, why do I say that? Guess what? In the same study about the doctors with burnout and the suicide and all of that, they're doing a lot of things. They're trying to exercise. They're doing yoga. They're still burnt out, right? Let's face it. A gay child in a homophobic world, which is one that's prejudiced against gays, will not grow up to be relaxed. Todd said, hi there. Hi there, Todd. A woman who is being bombarded with sexual assault or misconduct won't relax at work, in the subway, anywhere. A disabled person won't just relax into the process of living, knowing that his or her way will be paved with accessibility, is not there. I mean, I can tell you, being a disabled person. And people don't want to admit that they're getting sick when they could lose pay, or they could lose some kind of advantage or lose face. So you see, what I'm asking is, why doesn't the world talk about this every day? Every day, every day. In the debates, we are talking about some of the issues like, oh, we need health care. We need a society that meets the needs of people so we're not so stressed, so we don't get so sick, as well as we need health care, right? We need a safety net. We need a lot of things. Why isn't everyone an inner revolutionary? A person who sees that the purpose of the economy and the society is to meet the needs of people and the earth. Why aren't more people out there talking about the inner revolution? Why don't we question the economic and social system that is killing us? And I'm going to give you a simple answer. Because obviously we feel threatened that the status quo will change, or we feel afraid to threaten those who are hanging on to the status quo. So, for example, we may be afraid that if we do something about climate change, that we might lose a job. Right? We may lose a planet, but oh well, what is that? Even though that people say, well, we can train people to do other things, that we're afraid we're going to lose a job, or we're going to lose our position in the company that we've worked so hard to, or we're going to lose something. We're going to lose something. We're going to lose face. We're going to lose power. We're going to lose status. And we are afraid to say that this is the problem, because we would be questioning the economic and social system that we are swallowing every day. That's why.
Mm-hmm.
So my view is that we should take a page out of the Alzheimer's research of Dr. Bredesen and other scientists and start acknowledging that all these destructive behaviors are like we're defending ourselves from the assault, right? Just like the amyloid plaque is there to defend us from the inflammation or the infection or whatever it is. And let's start looking at causes. Let's start talking about causes. I know that this is hard. I know that many of us are just on the edge. We don't feel like we have enough power. We don't have enough of a voice. We don't have enough money as it is. Honestly, there's no choice. There's no choice. We need to start talking about an inner revolution of oneness, where we start to care about one another. As I call it, the potluck revolution, right? We take care of one another. Mutual support, accountability, oneness. That's what we need. That's what we need to start talking about. And I'm asking you to like this show, to love this show, to share this show with others. Put in your comments, but talk to other people. Tell them about our program, Inner Revolution, Changing the World from the Inside Out. Think about it and join us again on Monday. And by the way, tomorrow night, I'm going to try to deal with a symptom. Tomorrow night, I'm going to be playing, which goes to show you that symptoms are important too. Sometimes we have to deal with our anxiety enough so that we can even talk, right? Mm-hmm. So my natural cure for anxiety is Dreams of Peace, Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific time, and join us there, and I'll be playing the piano, and a lot of people find that they get more relaxed, feel better, and get a lift from that show. So
and I feel more connected with myself, and I feel more whole.
That is so divine.
When I listen to that music and take it in.
And Todd says yes. So he agrees with us. So do we have the guts? Only time will tell. Let's do our best and let's support one another. And please consider making a donation to us in order to keep this going. Thank you.
Thank you, Granny.
Monday and Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. Pacific time, Inner Revolution. Mwah.
Bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye.